Hey guys, welcome back. What we're going to do in this video is get our artist page set up so that when we click on the name of an artist anywhere in our site, like on the now playing bar for example, down here, if we click on that name, we want it to take us to the page for that artist. So if I go back to my finished version of the site, you'll see that we have this page here, where we have a play button as well as their name, and the play button starts playing their songs, and then we also have an album section which will list all of their albums. This artist, of course, only has one album, but if there were more, they would all appear alongside. So this is the kind of thing we're going to do, a real simple setup of an artist page. So go back to our text editor and let's create a new page, and we're going to call it artist.php. So save this file and save it in the root of your folder right here. I'm going to call it artist.php, and artist with the lowercase a, because we would have an uppercase A for the class, remember? So this is artist.php. Save that. And all we're going to do in here is open a PHP block and close it off so we don't forget. And in there we'll just say includes / included files.php. So this is that file we created before, which includes all of our classes. And then our artist page is going to take the artist ID in the URL, so we need to retrieve that. If you look at what we did for album.php, you'll see at the top here we did the same thing. We passed the ID in through the URL. So we can just take this if you want, copy that, or write it out again if you want to, that's fine too, and paste it in there. So what we're saying now is if the ID in the URL has been provided, if it's been set, then we want artist ID, so change album ID to artist ID to equal the ID from the URL. And if it hasn't been set, we're going to just redirect them to the index page, okay? Of course, eventually, rather than redirect them to the index page, you might want to go down the route of showing an error page saying that the ID or the artist couldn't be found. So that might be something to think about, but for now, we're just going to redirect them to the index page, okay? And then finally, we're just going to create an artist object using our artist class. So artist equals new artist, and in there, we're going to pass our connection variable, which comes from our config file, which again is included in our included files file, just to remind you guys. And then we're going to pass in the ID of the artist, which we just created here, which we can just copy and paste into there. So now we have our artist object. So now we can go ahead and start creating our actual HTML part of this. We're going to start with this top section. So just below that PHP section right there, we're going to create a div, and then it's going to have the class entity info like that. And if I save that, you'll see if I go to artist.php, I need to provide an ID, otherwise it will redirect us to the index page. So ID equals 1. You'll see if I just inspect element right now, our entity info class right here already has style applied from it because it's the same entity info class we used on the album page. So we're reusing classes here that we've already styled. So entity info for that div, and then create another div inside there, and it's going to have the class center section like that, class center section, and then we're going to create one more div underneath there. This is going to have the class artist info like that. Okay, and just so we can see what we've done, we're going to create an h1. This will contain the artist name, so let's give it the class artist name. Class equals artist name like that, and then inside there we should echo the artist name, which we're going to get from this artist object. So create our PHP block right there, and we can close it off as well if we want to. And inside there, put echo artist, which is our object, arrow get name like that. And then if I refresh this page now, we should hopefully see the name of the artist. So I've done ID of 1, so the artist with that ID of 1 is Mickey Mouse. If I change that to 2, we should see a different name, so Goofy. Okay, so there's one last thing we're going to do in this section, and that is to add the button which plays all the songs. Alright, so just 2 more lines. We're just going to add a div underneath here. It's going to have the class header buttons, and then finally in here just put a button tag and this is going to have the class button like that, and then just write play, and then refresh the page, and you'll see your button on the page now. So the button doesn't look good, but you can see the play is right there. Obviously when we style this, it's going to look a whole lot better. So it's a good start. We've created our artist page, which can distinguish which artist this page belongs to, and we also have a play button as well. Next thing we need to do is to add some CSS to this.